And that way, when we're going over this question number 7 from 3.1, I'm sure a lot of other people are struggling with it
Right.
because you're putting in the time and you're doing well. So I'm sure other people are also struggling with it.
Yeah.
So like I said, somebody emailed me as I requested from all of you. That way I can actually pull things up like this and have it already ready rather than us spending time pulling it up, writing things down like you're showing me your little note card, things like that. So
Yeah.
this will speed things up so I can just explain. But can you see that okay?
Yeah, I could see it.
So the problem is with the way that I have it set up right now is your numbers are going to be a little bit different, right? The wording and everything, the way that you're going to be setting these things up can be a little bit different. So as long
Yeah.
as you can kind of follow through and do this, I actually like it this way because then you can go back and do your problem. And I'd be happy to kind of sit here and walk you through it, or you can come back on later when I have my all class office hours and let me know if you were able to get it or need more help.
Yeah.
All right. So just kind of follow along, and I'll even prompt questions to you to see if you can answer them. But for now, I'm just going to kind of do a mini lecture here for you for this problem because it's very algebraic in nature, as I mentioned, and students very much struggle with word problems, which is
Mhm.
why this class is a little bit more challenging in certain ways than others, even though it's not so mathy. So I'll go ahead and kind of go through it and let me know if you have questions as I do, okay?
Yeah. And I got through most of these. It's just like later on. So like I'll work through these and stuff, but I'll point
You're
out whenever I get to the part that really stumped me.
okay, perfect. Yeah, and I know again your parts A through D, which was for each player, and they named them accordingly, so it's just easier. You know, you got A, B, C, and D. So I put
Right.
A here for part A, and they're calling this person Adams, right?
Okay, yeah.
So that's why they have the A, B, C, and D names.
Hmm.
That way we can just say A instead of
Right.
Adams or whatever. But a piece of land, and they said for my problem, $400,000 market value, and they're going to try to divide it into 4 different parcels, right? So in this, they're trying to make it even as possible for all 4 of those different. They're using S for subdividing, right?
Mhm.
So S 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those are called subscripts. They're not like exponents, just for naming purposes, right? If there was another person named Blake in our class, I could call you Blake 1 and then Blake 2. That's all that's for, all right?
Mhm.
And then we're going to say on this first one, and this is where it got a little rough right from the start, very algebraic. And so whenever I'm doing things like this, I always like to just draw blanks
Yeah.
because sometimes people literally do that, like, right? So I figure out, well, I'm just going to draw blanks here to represent each and every one of these subdivided parcels, right?
Mhm.
And so it says at the very beginning, S2, and the keyword is is. What does that mean to us in math terms? What can we replace that word with? What symbol in math?
An equal sign.
That's right. And that's key. So they're right off the bat telling us that S2 is worth 40,000 more than S1. And you should stop there. Okay? Compartmentalize this. So they're telling us something about S2 right now. And that's what?
That for S2 is 40,000. So or equal to 40,000.
40,000 what?
Oh, dollars, yeah. Oh,
Actually,
more. Oh, I wasn't reading all the way through.
that's
Yeah,
okay.
S2 is so we have to put 40,000 plus S1.
Good. Now, here's the thing. You can either put S1 and S2 and keep using all those, but I don't necessarily like those as variables. I like to
Mhm.
make it simple and easy. And so a lot of times, what is the most commonly used variable?
X and Y and all those.
Now, when you do this, you said that S2 is what they're telling us about, right?
Yes, yeah.
They told us that S2
Mhm.
is what?
Is equal to
Equal to
or
what? So we know that
oh yeah.
S2 is what they're telling us about, but it's equal to what?
It is equal to 40,000 plus. S1 or X.
Yeah, now if I was to say that I'm 10 years older than you, what would you need to know in order to find my age?
I would have to know my age.
So when you see more than or less than, you actually want to take these things, and I know it's weird, but you want to reverse them. You want to flip-flop the ordering.
Mm-hmm.
So when they say 40,000 more than, what do you need to know?
S1 is 40,000 less than S2.
Good. Or you can say it's 40,000 more than what, right? We need to know that what first. So
Mm-hmm.
this is the thing that we actually need to know in order
Right.
to find that.
Right.
So since they didn't tell me anything about S1, what am I going to call that?
X.
Very good. So I don't know anything about S1 yet, right? We haven't read any more than this first part of the sentence. But it says that S2 is, so again, they're telling us what that is, but compared to S1. And so we know that it's 40,000 more than, and like you said, we can negate all the thousands to just make
Right.
it simpler, right? Just cut all of that stuff out when working with these, just so it's a little bit simpler for us. But don't forget to tack it back on at the end, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Otherwise, some people might be very upset.
Yeah, 40 instead of 40,000.
Yeah, a little bit of a difference there. So S2 is 40,000 more than what? So I need to know what, and then I'll tack on that 40 at the end. Does that make sense?
Right.
How we kind of flip-flop their ordering?
Mm-hmm.
And so in this case, we're going to say more than S1, which we called what?
X.
So the nice thing is I already know S1 and S2.
Mm-hmm.
But what would I have to solve for?
You would have to solve. You would solve. Yeah, you would have to solve for X.
And if I know what X is, then boom, I would know exactly what S1 is. And then I'd tack on that extra 40 on top of it to find what S2 is.
Right.
So our whole goal in all of this is to be able to write all of these blanks, this one, this one, this one, and this one, in terms of our one variable. Because then if we can set up one equation that just has that one variable in it, however many times,
Right.
then we can solve for that X and then find all four of those values. So far, so good?
Yes. So far,
I'm
so good.
starting off really slow just for everyone. I know you said you
Right.
got these parts, but next, it says S1 and S3 are equal in value. The good thing is, what do we already know?
Well, we know S1. We can put X there.
Good. We already have S1.
Yeah.
It's X. So if we know that, then we can say, since they're equal in value, that they are what?
They're just they're the same. So we
So
can
even
just
though we don't technically know S1, what do we say it is?
that it's X.
So therefore, what is S3?
X. Yeah.
Doesn't get much easier than that. Now,
Right.
obviously, the fourth blank, which represents the fourth section that we're subdividing this into, they also go and right off the bat tell us S4 is, right? And S4 is what?
20,000 more than S2.
Now, we already called S2 this, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
So remember, like I mentioned before, I'm going to put the 20,000 more than at the end, and I need to know what it's 20,000 more than.
Yeah.
And we said it was 20,000 more than what?
S2.
And we already said that S2 was what?
X plus 40.
So that's what's going to go there. So that would be my, and if you want to put parentheses just so that you can see, that's that one piece, that S2, which happens to have two parts to it.
Right.
And as we mentioned, what's nice about all of those blanks?
The let's see.
What do they all have in them?
They all have equations. I'm sorry, I'm trying.
Okay, that's okay. It's not an equation yet. Remember, an equation is something with an equal sign in it.
Right.
But they all have
X in them. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Which,
it's early.
yeah, exactly. Which is exactly what you said, though. we now need an equation to solve for that x. So what's one
Yeah.
other thing in here that, again, reading, it just asks us the question, right?
Mhm.
So what else did they tell us that we haven't officially used yet?
The 400 or the
Very good.
400,000.
And that represented the what?
The the full price, like the whole market price of the piece of land.
Meaning if you, me, and two other people cut this up and, say you're S1, I'm S2, whatever else, what do we know? All of these four parcels should therefore add up to be
400,000. Yeah. Or just 400 for now.
which we took off the thousands. We'll tack it back on at the end to make our number crunching a lot
Right.
simpler. Very good. So all I have to do is take the first, the second, and if you want to leave them with the blank so that you can see all we're doing is adding these up, that's fine. Now I can go ahead and combine some like terms for that S4, right?
Mm-hmm.
X plus 40 plus 20 more would be X plus
60.
And I know that all four of those subparcels are going to be what?
400.
$1,000. So there's our, what do we call this?
Our equation, yeah.
Why do we call it an equation?
Because there's an equal sign.
Hey, there goes our math terms, right? And so with this, we're going to then just solve for our one equation and our one unknown.
Right.
Which if we do, then we have all four of our values. Okay, so just doing that real quick, making sure that everyone can do this. I'll add up all the x values, which there are how many?
There are 4x.
Good. And then I'll add up all the numbers, which there are a combined total of
10, or I guess, let me see. I'm getting all the numbers mixed up. 100, yeah.
40 and 60. Very good. I know it's early. 100. I can see you
Yeah.
still got your bed head on.
Oh, yeah, no, I jumped out of bed and then rolled on in here.
You're good. You're good. And remember, that was all equal to 400.
Yeah.
So now we just, much simpler, that's why we call it simplifying, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can go ahead and solve by start subtracting that over, undoing that, and then dividing that by 4. And now we found x.
Which is 75.
Good. Now, I know you did that because you've already done this, right?
Yeah.
Or did you punch it in the calculator, or did you
I
do
punched
that
it into the calculator.
All right, let me show you. You don't need it, right? But check
Okay.
this out. Just break it down. 4 doesn't go into 3, but how many times does 4 go into 30?
4 goes into 30. Let's see.
4 times what would give you 30 or less?
4 times 7.
Very good.
Oh, 7? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because 7 would be how much? 4 times 7 is what?
4 times 7 is 30. No, not that's 8 times 4. So I'm really bad at this kind of stuff. Let me think. 7 times. Oh, 28.
There you
No,
go.
no.
Very good. And
Oh,
again,
yeah.
those are the things that we tried to memorize when we were in grade school, right? So that we could just do it like that and keep moving.
Right.
But
Right.
very good. So 4 times 7 is 28, which when I do the subtraction here from that 30, I will have 2 left over, and then I'd bring down the 0. Now 4 times what gives me 20?
5.
See how you can do that in your head pretty easily?
Mm-hmm.
As long as you know some basic multiplication and how long division works. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Now remember, that's not necessarily our answer, right? That would be back in the algebra days when we were in high school, just learning how to solve and do all these things with equations. Now we needed that x in order to find what?
We needed that x to find out. Oh, we just needed it to plug it into all the other values for the different shares.
That's right. Based on all of this information that we broke down, up here, right? Namely that, and that, we were able to come up with these things, which we said if we knew what,
If we knew X.
then we'd be able to go through and actually do by plugging back, substituting in what we know X is to find each and every one of those subdivisions. Okay, so which two do we know immediately?
We know S1 and S3.
Which, remember, they said are equal in value, and they would be equal to what?
75.
Very good. So this is 75 what?
$75,000.
Good. If you don't want to write the thousand, we can use K, which is why the metric system uses kilometers. A kilo represents 1,000, right? So that's why we use that. So that would be 75K there, 75K there. And then what would S2 be? How much more?
It'd be 75 plus 40. It'd be 40,000 more.
So just add 30 to that, and then add 10 more.
30.
Why did I choose 30 and then 10 instead of just 40?
30 and then 10.
I know 70 plus 30 is what?
70 plus 30 is 100.
That's right. And then 10 more?
10 more would be 110.
With that extra 5?
Oh, 115,000.
Very good. So you got a good mind, Blake. You just got to use it more.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of people just get reluctant and just, I can do a calculator. Yeah, you can do that easily. You just got to learn how to kind of do these little tricks and nuances to get there a little bit quicker. Now, here's where a lot of people just not think, and they'll do again. They'll do the X plus 40, and then they'll add 20 more. Well, remember, what was the X plus 40?
Well, that was just S2.
That's right. So what do we just need to add to that?
Oh, then it just 115,000 plus 20,000.
Which is?
Which is 135,000.
Very good. Well done. So here's where the new math comes in, right? That was all algebra, the entire thing. Here's our class, the very last part. What does it mean to have a fair share?
Oh, yes, yeah, fair share.
If we said that $400,000 was what it was worth, and there was 4 of us, we would just simply take the $400,000 and divide it evenly, 4 ways.
Yeah.
If every one of those parcels, we all agreed, were worth
the same amount.
That's right. The same value. Which, if you know anything about land, that's usually not the case. It depends on where you're at and everything else, right? So $100,000 would be fair to everyone if they were equal. And as they told us, they definitely were not equal. Only S1 and S3 were. The others were valued a little bit more, or even a little bit more than that, right?
Yeah.
So what we're really looking at with each one of these finality answers that we came up with is what are they compared to the fair share that we've said it would be worth. And so of the ones that would be fair to what he decided for each one of those parcels, the value was, which ones would we throw out?
We would throw out S1 and S3 because
they're not worth the 100K that would be fair. So therefore, the only ones that would be fair to him would be
S2 and S4.
That's it. That's it. Very good. So then part B, you basically do the same thing. Right?
Yeah.
But of course, the way that they word it is going to be different because it's a different person valuing them.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go through this one a little bit quicker now that we kind of got the notation and process down, if you're cool with that.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And when did you start stumbling? Was it on like one of these where the percent and stuff comes in?
I think it was part C that just because they threw in another kind of variable. So
Oh,
one, all you needed to know was X. Or, with the S3, you just basically swap them out so you don't have to worry about Y. But one of them, it's just all it gives you is like X, and then there's 3 of those, and then 3 Y's.
Right.
So
And remember, the whole secret to math and word problems is getting it to one equation with one variable.
exactly.
If you can get it to one equation with one variable, you should be able to solve using all of those techniques that you've learned in your entire math career. But if there's 2 variables, then what do we need?
We need one variable, or we need
Good.
to,
But
or
if
find.
there's two variables, what do we need?
Oh, we need to find one of them, I guess, or
Good. And in reality, the generic answer is we need 2 equations.
oh, we need 2 equations. Okay.
Yep. Because if there's 2 equations, then we'll be able to solve, like you said, for one of them and then substitute it back in.
Okay.
So we went over those. Those are called systems of equations way back in algebra, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if we were in class, and actually, I probably would have reviewed all of those with you guys before we got into stuff like this.
Yeah.
But we're dealt these cards, right? So hopefully you're dealing with it. All right, so let's go through this real quick. I'll highlight some of the key things, and then we'll try to jot them down again. S1 is worth 40,000 more than S4.
Mm-hmm.
What did they tell us nothing about?
They have not told us what S4 is worth, or
So
what S1 is.
What are we going to call it?
We're going to call S4X.
Very good. Now, I'm going to back you up a little bit. You said or S1. Actually, they did tell us what S1 is worth.
Oh, right.
We just don't know enough information yet to tell them what that value is.
Yeah.
So good. I like that, though. So that's the key. Look for what they didn't tell you anything about, but still used, right?
Yeah.
So S1 is, they're telling us what that is right now. It's worth what?
It is worth 40,000 more than S4.
So 40,000 more, which again, we're just going to take off the thousands so we don't have to punch in all those extra 3 zeros. More than what?
X.
Which, remember, to know if it's 40,000 more than X, we're going to have to write X plus 40.
Right.
Good. Next, it said what?
All right. It said, okay, S3 is 8,000 more than S2. So that's a different variable. So
yeah, that's the problem. They didn't compare S1 or S4 with it, so we don't know what now.
Mm-hmm. So that would be S3 is 8,000 or 8 plus S2 or Y.
Good. So again, we don't know anything about S2, so we called it. We can't just say it's the same as S4. They haven't told us that, so we can't use X again. So that's why we're using the next letter in the alphabet, which would be Y, if you were wondering why. WHY, right?
Yeah.
So in this case, 8,000 more than S2 is what our S3 is. So that's why we wrote 8,000 more than S2, which we called some other unknown.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately, we have 2 variables. We need 2 equations. So let's keep going.
All right.
Last statement they gave us was,
together, S3 and S2 have a combined value equal to 40% of the value of the land.
a lot of people are going to struggle with this because they're like, what? Right? What does all that mean? Well, we know S3 and S2 combined, meaning what?
It means that separately it'd be like 20%. So S3 would have 20% of the land, or
not necessarily. That would mean that you and I, if we're S2 and S3, have
equal. Crumb. Yeah, this is what actually tripped me up. So but
what do they mean by together, combined?
Yeah, so S2 what? Plus S3 equal 40% of the value of the land.
That's right.
So
together, adding them up doesn't mean that we're the same, right? Because obviously we already said that they're not.
Yeah, so like one of them is like 18% or something. Yeah.
Together, combined. That's what we use that symbol to represent those terms, right? But have a value equal. There's another key term. We know that also means this.
Yes.
Equal to what?
40%.
Of what?
Oh, of the value of the land.
And how do we find 40%?
So it'd be 400 or yeah, 0.40 time or oh, you're dividing it.
Nope, you're right. 40% is the
Oh,
same as 40% 100. Century
yeah,
or cent. That's what percent means, is per 100,
yeah. So
right?
it'd be like
40% of what though?
40% of 400. So
The
it'd be like
land's value. That's right,
yeah.
400. So like you said, this is called the hundredths,
Hmm.
right? 40 hundredths. And the way that we write that is tenths hundredths.
Right.
So the easiest way to get rid of percent is take those two dots and take your decimal and move away from it to get rid
Hmm.
of those. And that's where we get this.
Right.
So like you said, we will take 40% of, meaning multiplication,
Hmm.
that 400,000.
Right.
And I know 10% of that, remember we could write it like this,
Hmm. Oh yeah, you could do that.
and that would just cancel that to be 4. And 4 times 40 is what?
Four
Well, what's
times
4
40
times
is
4?
16. So it'd be 160.
Very good. See how much you can do in your head? Very good, very good. So what is 160 though?
160 is that would be 40% of the value of the land,
Good,
or the
which was,
combined value of both of them. Yeah.
that's right, which we know is this plus that.
Right.
S2 and S3 have a combined value of 40% of, which we said was
160,000.
1,000.
Yeah.
That's right. Which
So
allows us to solve for what variable?
think oh, for y, yeah.
Because we have one equation with one unknown.
Okay. Yeah, see, like I got this question right, but I did it way harder. Like I, I
That's
didn't
the
write
only
it out as an
drawback of not being in class, right? I could have shown you guys this so that you don't stumble through it. But remember, the goal is for you guys to be able to get through it and kind of work through that whole process, which there's some
right.
learning in that as well. So,
Mhm.
tit
So
for
which is
tat. But
I think that's why I got caught up on. So I eventually couldn't get C because I didn't get the fundamental that that this was probably teaching.
gotcha, gotcha. So adding those two things that are like the y's,
Mhm. Plus 8, 160. So then you would just subtract 8 from 160 and then divide that.
and 160 less 8 is going to be 150 what?
150. Oh gosh, 152.
Very
152.
good, because you're
Yeah.
just taking from a 10, right? And you're just
Mhm.
subtracting 8, which would be left with a 2.
Right.
And I knew it was from here. That's why I said 150 and then minus the 8, right? So
Right.
that would have been the 2.
Mhm.
And then let's see if you continue to grow.
Oh god.
Don't worry about it. Just
Okay.
focus on the 15.
Oh, on the 15. Oh, okay. I think
2 times what would give you 15 or less?
2 times or less, so it'd be like 2 times 6. It'd probably be the 7. Yeah, because it'd
Lucky
be
number 7 again, because 2 times 7 would give you what?
14.
Which means when I subtract that, I'd have 1 left over in that grouping, and then I'd bring down the 2. And 2 times what gives you 12?
6.
Boom. Which means right then and there, we already know which values.
We know S2 and we know S3
Very good. How come?
because we have Y.
Good. Which means we know S2 is exactly what?
Exactly 76. And then S3
1,000.
is yes, 1,000. And then
Plus 8 more, which let me show you another little trick. Don't add 8. That's hard. 76 plus 8 is kind of weird, right? So
right.
just break up the 8 as a 4 with another
Oh,
4. And why did I choose 4 first? Because I want to get to the nearest 10.
oh, okay.
So I know 76 plus 4 would get me to what?
76 plus 4 would be that'd be 80. Yeah.
That's why I chose 4. And
Okay.
then the other 4 is just to make this my total of 8 still.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Hmm.
So what is
So
my total?
88.
80 what?
88.
That's what I thought you said, but
Oh, 84. I don't know. I was looking at
you're
8.
looking at the 8.
Sorry.
I heard. You're good.
Yeah, 84. Oh my gosh.
That's okay. Which works out really well because look, we already know half of our answers.
Right. Yeah.
So all we need to do is
Find
what,
X.
what is our goal always with these? Set up what?
Um, Set up. Oh, the equation. Since we
One
have
equation with what?
with
One unknown.
one unknown. Yeah.
And we did that with y, and we were able to go through and actually solve for y.
Yeah.
But now we need to also have an equation with what in it?
We have to have an equation with X. So we just take the whole total now. So like
Now, very good. We can take all of these, which we already know 2 of them, and add them to the other 2 to get that total of that 400.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. So fixing that up real quick, I'm going to just take the x plus x, which would give me what?
That would give you 2X.
Plus the 40.
Yep. Oh, plus the 40? Yeah. So
Plus the 76 plus the 84.
yeah.
And I'm going to just add these 2 together right now because I know the 4 and the 6 work out really well, don't they?
Yes, yeah.
Add
So
the 4 to the 6 over here, and what does that give you total here?
that would give you 80.
And then this already had 80, so what's that together?
8 times 2 is 160.
Very good. Then add that extra 40 to it. What do we have?
Another 10, so that'd be I said 160, so that'd be 200.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good, Blake. I'm impressed. So I know all that together, added up, which without me writing it all down, we could do it just like we did here, right?
Right.
But I'm just trying to streamline it a little bit since we've already done it. And we just added these things in our head. We added the extra 4 over here to get 80, and then 80 and 80 was 160, plus 40 more we said was 200. And then adding that x and that x, which is what was left, we got 2x. And we know that total is going to equal the total value of the land, 400.
Right.
So obviously subtracting over 200 will leave us with the 2x equals 200, and therefore what is x?
X is 100.
And that's what we're trying to keep it in here, right?
Mm-hmm.
100.
Yep.
So when we have that, we then can plug it in, remember, for what?
We can plug it in for X.
That's what x is equal to. So that means here plus 40, which means a total of what?
140. S1 equals 140.
40K for this one, and then this one over here for S4 is what?
That's just 100,000 or 100K.
Which we said the fair share divided equally, if they were all even, would be what?
400K.
Which means we will take, for this one, S1 and S4 and toss those 2 because according to Benson,
Oh, yeah, because it's 100 or more.
those aren't fair.
Yeah.
Those would be his choices.
Yep.
Good.
All right. So
All
this
right.
is the one. Yeah.
On to part C. And again, apologies for going through the whole thing, but like I said, I would like to record this so that I can
yeah, of
post it
course.
for everyone.
It's making me think too, just having to do those again from like a different viewpoint.
For sure. All right, let's start by highlighting some stuff again. So this first one, Kegel, they say S3 is. They're telling us what S3 is right away.
Mm-hmm.
And it's worth 40,000 more than S1.
Yeah.
What do we not know anything about, though?
We don't know anything about S1.
So what are we going to call it?
X.
Call that X, and therefore we can say that S3 is what?
40 plus, oh no, X plus 40. Yeah.
Good. 40,000 more than what? Well, we said S1, which we called X.
Mm-hmm.
Good. This is where it got a little weird, though.
Oh, yeah, this is what got me. Yeah.
It said and.
Yeah.
20,000 more than S4. So what are they trying to tell us there? What's 20,000 more?
Um, S3, or wait, no, more than X S1. So S3 is also
Yes, very good. They
S.
told us S3 is 40,000 more than S1
Mhm.
and 20,000 more than S4.
Yeah,
Well, what's S4?
Y would be Y.
Because I want to keep going on and moving on. I'm just kidding. You said Y.
Oh,
I just switch up.
I was kind of confused there for
I'm
a
just
minute.
kidding. But good. We'll call it Y, not WHY, but good. Uh, we don't know S4, but it did say that S3 is 20,000 more than S4. And so
Yeah,
since they didn't tell us anything about that, that's another unknown. But we can also say what?
that S4 is, oh, Y is plus 20K.
What is?
S4 is, so that'd be Y.
S4 is Y.
Oh, you mean S3? Yeah, S3 is Y plus 20.
They used the and. That was a little weird, right? Because they told us
Yeah,
two things about S3 compared to two other things, S1, which we called X, and S4, which we called Y. So there's another thing that they're telling us about S3. It's what?
that it's yeah, Y plus 20.
20 more than S4, which we called Y. So it's actually worth this and that compared to both this and that. Oh, and of course, another thing, right?
Yeah,
And S2 is what?
worth twice as much as S4. So it'd be 2 times Y or 2Y.
Very good. And we can write the times, but we know it's implied if we don't write the parentheses or the dot.
Right.
Very good. So we'll just write 2y. And Blake, what's our goal with any of
Our
these problems?
our goal is to get one unknown rather than two unknowns.
And what do
So I
we
mean,
need in order to solve?
we need an equation which needs an equal sign. So we need to
Good.
find.
Can you help me out to set up an equation?
I can try.
Good.
Let's see.
All I ask.
So let's see what we know.
What's the obvious equation that you would set up?
Obvious equation would be. I'm looking at. We got a lot of Y's.
Because it's not there. It's not in the.
Okay, I was supposed to say like I don't see any obvious ones.
There should be an obvious one because we've used it in the first two.
Yeah, 400,000.
What is?
That's all of them added up together. It would be
I took
400.
this plus that's
Right,
kind of weird, plus this, and I added them all up. We know again it would be equal to that 400,000. You're right.
right. But none of but we still have two unknowns.
But that's kind of weird and very good. We have two unknowns, so we need a second equation. So I'll leave that one in the back that we can
Right.
always use for all of these, but I need another equation.
Yeah.
So what else did they tell us about these things that I might be able to set up rather than just setting up that obvious one of the
Right.
400,000?
Yeah. So the other thing they told us is that S3 is worth two different values.
Which means what is true about this and that, Blake?
That would mean that um, I don't really know what that means. So let me think.
Why did I put both of those on that blank of S3? What does that represent?
That represents.
What is this equal to? If I was to replace y
Oh,
plus
so
20 with one thing, what would I be able to write?
you would be able to write. Well, I mean, like, and also means multiplication, right? Could you use that or
Good point, but not in this case.
not in this case? Okay.
Yeah, it's very good. But what did they tell us? What did that and represent here?
More than that. It's also more than
What is?
that. S3.
Very
S.
good. That's what I can
Oh,
say this. What is this equal
right.
to?
That is also equal to S3.
Which means if these are equal to the same thing, what does that mean about these two things?
That um, they're both equal to S3, I guess. Or
Which, if I say that S3 is equal to S3, is that a true statement?
yes, that is a true statement.
Well, then couldn't I put this in there and then this in there and set those equal?
Oh, yeah, sure thing.
And again, now you're like,
Now it looks
duh,
like, yeah, exactly.
super
Now I'm remembering.
obvious, but it's not at first, right? Like this one
Right.
is a little tricky because why would we set those equal to each other? Because it still doesn't get us our one equation with one unknown,
Mhm.
right? But in the back pocket, we still have, I can add this plus those, whatever one I choose,
Yeah,
plus this would all equal that 400K.
right.
But before I do that, the first equation I'm going to use is I'm going to set that x plus 40 equal to the y plus 20
Right.
because we do not want two variables involved.
So what you could do, I'm having flashbacks to my algebra
Yeah, good,
Algebra
good,
2
good.
class. So so what you would do is I think you could subtract one of those sides to cancel out one side and then do that. I'm not sure if I would like to do it with the 20, but I'm not sure if we can do that. But can
You
we?
can do whatever you want to an
Oh,
equation.
okay.
If you want
All
to
right.
subtract 20 to this side, as long as you
Right.
do it to this side, it'll stay equal,
Oh, okay. Cool, cool.
right?
So we'll do
If I
that.
subtract 20 pounds from each side, then it's going to be a lesser weight, but it'll still be equal weight. So then that will cancel out, and this will give me x plus 20 equals what?
Why?
Which means I then now know what is
Now we know what y is, kind of.
in terms of what?
In terms of x. So that takes out one unknown, I
Very
think.
good.
Yeah.
Very good. This was called substitution method
Oh, okay. Yeah.
back when you were in your algebra days, probably in high school,
Yeah, that's what I was remembering.
which allows me to use my x for this still, but now I can rewrite this as what?
X plus 20 times 2, or we
Good.
plug it into parentheses.
So 2 times my y, which we said is equivalent to this, which would
Right.
give me 2x plus what?
Plus 20. Oh, yeah, 40.
Right? We're
Yeah.
doubling everything. The whole
Right.
y value that we said is equal to all of that.
Hmm.
So now I can use this. Over here, we already had it in terms of x. So you
Yeah,
don't need to physically plug it in here. But by the way, what would you get if you plugged in x plus 20 right there?
it would be, you get like X. Oh, yeah, so Y wouldn't even be there anymore. So then it would be like X plus 40.
Yep.
Oh,
Very
wow.
good. Very
It's like
good.
magic.
Math of magic. That's right. And
Right.
then what do we say this y would become?
Oh, just X plus 20 since it's
And
the y.
now I have everything that I wanted in terms of what?
In terms of X, yeah. Or at least we only have one unknown, so we can actually do the equation.
And what do you mean by do the equation? What is the equation that I would be doing?
You would be, oh yeah, that, yeah. So the obvious one in those words.
That's right. The one that they initially gave us, we just had to do a little bit of arm waving to get all of our things in terms of x rather than that second variable y we had to use.
Right.
Very good, Blake. So just finishing this off real quick, I'm going to collect all the like things, which are all the x's.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't tell my wife. And then what does that mean? How many x's would we have?
We would have 3, 4, 5.
Good. So 5 x's total. How about my values, my numbers?
That would be, oh, I think 100.
Very good. 40 and 40 is 80 plus 20 more is 100. and we knew that was all equal to 400.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have that one equation with one unknown that we can go through and do our old algebra techniques to solve.
Yeah.
Blake, look at that and tell me what would the answer be as quickly as possible.
The answer would be like 6D, I think. Yeah.
See how much faster that was than even looking for your calculator?
Yeah.
Very good. That's why I try to teach you those little tools and shortcuts. You saw
Right.
that 5 goes in that 6, that 0, boom, 60.
Right.
Very good. Which remember, that's not our answer, but that helps us to find each and every one of our answers.
Sure does feel like our answer after all the work.
And again, yeah, you want to reward yourself, right? Don't stop there. Make sure you
Yeah.
do answer it and use it wisely, like you said. So my final answers would be the first one.
Yeah, so the first one, 60K. And then that one is 2x, so 120K
Plus,
plus 40, so that's 160K.
oops. Good.
And then with this one, it's 40, so plus 40, 100K, I think. Yeah.
Don't think you got it, right? It's just 60 plus 40. We're using that one because we found x. We don't want to use the y's. We got rid of it
Right.
by solving for it in terms of x. And then this one, same thing. We're going to use this value, which was?
That is x plus 20, so 60 plus 20, 80K.
And of those, which ones are we going to keep and which ones are we going to toss?
All the ones that are equal to or greater than 100. So not that one, and then not that one. Yeah, so those two, S2 and S3.
Very good. Those would have been our answers that we plugged in there, separated by a comma, as mentioned. Very good. Awesome, Blake.
All right, thank you very much. Or do you want me to keep going through all these?
It's up to you. If you want to do the last one, we can. If you want
I might
to
as
try
well.
this one, you want to try this one on your own, and then I'll just kind of write it up for you.
Oh yeah, sure thing. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see if you can do this one from start to finish. You tell me what you want me to highlight, write in. But again,
Right.
notice what I did. I have the 4 blanks already set up. I know these are my 4 unknown parts, so that's why I drew blanks. All I'm
Right.
going to try to do, if I can, is write them all in terms of,
In terms of one unknown.
and if
Or
we can't, and we have to include a second, then I need a second equation so that I can then solve for 1 like we did here,
right.
and then back substitute so that we can then set it all up with just 1 equation with that 1 unknown.
Right.
Good.
All right. So S1 is worth 4,000 more than S3. So S3 would be X. So we can put X in the S1 blank. We can put X plus 4.
Again, just taking off the thousands. Very good.
Right. And then S3 and S2 have an equal value. So yeah, X for S2.
So because S3 and S2 have equal, and we already found that, then very good. We will just call this X. Awesome. Keep going.
And then S1, S3, and S2 have a combined value equal to 70% of the land.
And what did we say the value of the land was?
400,000.
And how would we find 70% of that?
We would multiply 400 by 0.70.
Good. Or if you wanted to do it in your head, you'd take.
Oh, right. Yeah, so then put that over there. Yeah.
And you know that that's just going to cancel out to give us 4. So what is that?
Right. So then 4 times 7 is, oh, we just did this one. That'd be 28. Yeah.
Very good. Excellent. So we would put what though?
28K, right? Oh, 280. Yeah.
Yeah, you did the 70, which is exactly what I do. I just rewrite it as 7 times 10. And then I do the 4 times 7, which is 28, and then times 10 is 280. I just tack that 0 back on.
Right. Okay.
Yep, very good. All right, so what did it say about that is equal to 280 though?
The combined S1, S2, and S3. So x plus 4 plus x equal 280.
Very good. And what was our goal in all of these?
To reduce it to just one unknown.
One
Oh,
equation
oh, one equation, yeah.
with one unknown. Very good. And we already have that.
Mhm.
Now you're going to look at this and you're like, whoa, 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 whoa.
I already was kind of doing that.
They didn't tell us anything about S4, and that's it. They
Yeah,
didn't give us any more.
so that
But
would be,
if we can find these three, then what do we know?
then we know,
Let's
well,
just
then
make
we,
the numbers easy. Let's say that this came out to be 100, 100, and 100. Then what would we know this would have to be?
that would have to be, oh, 100.
And that's why
Because,
I chose 100, because then we would know that this would be the remaining 100 if
right,
these all were. Because we know their total equals 400.
right.
Very good. So the cool thing is you already set up the equation. You've done the hard part. Now you just get to do the algebra that you should
Right.
have already known
Yeah.
how to
So
do.
it's
Very
gonna
good.
be, yeah, 3x and then plus, yeah, plus 4 equals 280. So yeah, then subtract 4 from 280.
What's that? Quick.
Oh, that would be 272. Yeah, right? I might be wrong.
10 minus 4.
10 minus 4. 6. Yeah, 276.
You know from the 280, basically what you're doing is rewriting it like this. 270 plus 10.
Right.
That's still 280, right? But then you're just going to subtract the 4 off of this. So that's why you said 270, and then that's the only part that you need to figure out.
Yeah.
That's how you can do it in your head. Awesome. Now here's another little cool trick that a lot of people don't know. Unfortunately, they should. But if you were to ever figure out if a number is divisible, and this works for both 3 and 9, because I know I'm going to have to divide by 3, right? All you got to do is add up all the digits. And if that new number is divisible by 3 or 9, then so is your big number.
Okay.
Whether it's a 3-digit like this or 4 or 5 or however big, if you just add them all up. And what's 2 plus 7?
2 plus 7 is 9.
Plus 6.
Plus 6 is 15.
And does 3 go into 15?
Um, let's see. Yes, yeah.
So
Wait,
I know
no.
that it's going to go in evenly to
Oh
276.
yeah, 3 does go into 50.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. So that's just a little divisible trick that a lot of people don't know. But again, I know 3 doesn't go into 2, so I'm going to look at 27. And 3 times what gives me 27?
3 times, I think so. 3 times. Is it?
It's almost 30, isn't it?
Yeah, so 9. Yeah.
Good. It's 1 less 3, because 3 times 10 would be 30, so 1 less would be 9. And that goes in evenly. So now we're just looking at the next thing, because there was 0 remainders, right?
Right.
And 3 times what?
3 times 2 for 6.
Good. And because we know that, we then know what?
We know that x equals 92, so 92 plus 4 for S1, or we can just start plugging that in for the final equation. Yeah.
I'll put the K just to make sure. But again, they told us nothing about S4, did they?
No, they did not.
But they didn't have to, because they gave us enough to find what?
To find, yeah, to find x. So now we only have one
S1, S2, and S3, which means since we know this, this, and that, we can really just do 92 times 3 and then add that extra 4 on at the end.
Oh, okay.
Right? So what is 93 times?
93 times, that's 9 times 3, so 24? 24? Oh, 27. Wait. 27, because, yeah.
Yeah, remember we just did that over here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then do the 2 times 3.
2 times 3 is 6.
So we have a total of,
276.
but don't forget we had to add on that extra 4.
Yeah,
So that would be a total of
279.
2 what?
279. Oh, 10. Oh my gosh, 230.
Okay.
Or my brain's not working. 280, yeah.
All right. There's been a lot of numbers already in just this
Yeah.
one problem. Now, again, it's taking a long time for me to explain because I want to go in depth with you, but 280 is representative of what?
280 represents, that's all of the x's put together, or the S1 plus S2 plus S3.
And what do we know this therefore has to be?
280 plus y equals 400.
Good. And or I could have done 400 minus 280
Right, yeah.
to see what the remaining difference is. Now,
Right.
again, let me show you how to do this in your head. It's backwards than the way that you've learned it. We were all taught to start with the ones and then go to the tens, then the hundreds. I want you
Right.
to go backwards
Okay.
because you can do 400 minus 200 easily in your head. What's that?
400 minus 200 is 200.
And then subtract the 80 from that. What's 200 minus 80?
Okay, so we'd go with the 10. I got ahead of myself.
That's okay.
20. So you said 200 minus 80 would be 120.
Very good.
Yeah.
Because remember, you're really just looking at the 200 minus 80. You're really just looking at 20 minus 8,
Right.
which would just be the 12 with that 0 tacked on.
Right.
That's it. Which means to answer their question, as the previous have all stated, what are we looking for?
We're looking for something equal to or greater than 100.
Which means
Only S4 is a fair
that's
share.
the only fair one to Duncan.
Yeah.
So putting this all together, my friend.
All right. So
I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the question, and I summarized it here.
yeah.
Just so that we could have it, right? So based off of all those parts, I scrolled back up and found, all right, what did we say was fair, quote unquote, for each and every one of these people? Well, we said for A, B, C, and then D, this is what they came out with based off of all of those things that we did were fair.
Yeah. So we can immediately just kind of eliminate D,
because we know what has to be true.
Adams has to get.
He said that's the only one that was fair, so we have to give him that one, right?
Oh, what? Okay, wait. I might be looking at this weird. Wait, so Adams wouldn't get his fair share though.
Duncan, remember, said the only one that was fair was S4.
Right.
So if we give him any of the other ones, he's not getting his fair share according to him.
Okay, yeah. But doesn't Adams, his fair share is only 2 and 4.
That's right. But remember, only one option there. We have to, if this is going to be fair, we have to give Duncan S4.
Okay.
Which means what does that do to the other people that had S4 as a fair share?
Oh, I see. Okay, so I see now.
We got to toss it. It's already been given to Duncan.
Yeah, I was a little ahead of myself there. I didn't see the other one.
Okay.
Okay.
Which means what do we have to give to Adams and what do we have to give to Benson?
We have to give him 2. Second.
And S1. Yeah, those are the only options.
Right.
Which means S2 and S1 are gone. So as long as the one that's remaining has one that's available, then we're good.
All right.
So what would our options be?
So Adams should get S2. Okay, so that would mean that A and C are out because Duncan doesn't get his fair share.
Just look at the one that we found Adam
Oh,
had to
okay.
have.
Yeah,
If
so
you look
B.
at all the other ones, it's not S2.
Oh,
So
yeah,
guess
you're
what?
right. Oh, yeah, then
There's
that
our
means
answer.
B. Yeah.
But did you kind of get the logic as to why we had to start with this?
Oh, yeah, because that's the only one that he could think of as
It's
the
not
first.
going to be fair if he doesn't get that according to his
Right.
calculations, right? And then
Hmm.
from there, we then canceled out the S4s because that was the only one that was fair to him.
Right.
And then luckily, Adams had a different option and Benson had a different option.
Hmm.
That then got rid of this because of the S2. But luckily, there was another option, the last option for Kegel.
Yeah.
And that's it. We had to unfortunately do all of that stuff to figure this out, though,
Yeah.
which I know a lot of people are struggling with this in this class is just the length of time it takes to do one particular problem.
Right.
So, again, that's why I'm not going through and doing this kind of thing because you can see how long it takes for me to kind of sit through and explain, and you knew what you were doing. You've already kind of worked through it, but I wanted to be able to post this for everyone. So that's why I kind of just took the time to explain each and every one.
Yeah, of course.
So I appreciate you sitting through it, but
Oh, yeah,
hopefully
no
that helped.
problem.
This was definitely the hardest one in the first section, but keep working on the other two and let me know if you have more questions. We can go over those as well.
Oh, are you talking about the cake ones or?
Either of those, I think they're a little bit more straightforward than these.
Yeah, those ones are. I think like even in the examples, the two videos you posted, those ones have like it explains how to do the cake ones with like the
Right.
fractions and stuff.
Right. And did those videos help? Should I keep doing stuff like that for y'all?
Oh yeah, yeah, especially with the examples, because sometimes whenever you have in the textbook and like they write them out, but they kind of just they're kind of
Right.
word soup. But
Right.
once you get to the videos, it's really nice seeing the examples kind of written out and explained.
For sure. For sure. Well, I'm glad you showed up. Keep working hard and let me know if there's anything else that you need. And I'll post this as soon as I get it situated and up and running.
All right, thank you very much.
You
This
got it,
really
man.
helped.
You got it, man. Take care, bud.
All right, you too.
Uh,
Bye.
See ya.